614,600,000 pebbles on Brighton Beach. Named one of the top 10 cities with brilliant beaches by the Lonely Planet last year, Brighton was. We've got 2 piers still. We've got the Brighton Pier, which we all know locally as the Palace Pier, which is a Victorian pier, famous for its stripy deck chairs and its candy floss and its thrill-seeking rides. And then we have the iconic West Pier, which is now only a skeleton of what it is, but it's possibly, well, definitely, I would think, the most photographed pier in the country.
OK, we must move on now, gentlemen. Sorry. Criteria number 2. Alan, you're up first. Oh. Fish and chips. Quality, availability and cost.
Oh, cheap, plentiful and brilliant.
And Adrian, the Hunstanton offer?
Well, so many to choose from, and all great quality. The Seagulls certainly like them as well.
I'd imagine they've got that in common with the Seagulls in Brighton as well. Fairly indiscriminate, I reckon. And we're going to move on to the final aspect of the deck chair index. In many ways, the most important, gentlemen. The all-important X factor. What do you think your resort offers that others do not? Alan, you kick us off with the Brighton offer.
Right, well, as a result, we've everything. We've the Royal Pavilion, the Royal Palace, Indian on the outside, Chinese on the inside. We've the i360, the new i360, officially the most slender tower in the Guinness Book of Records, 2016. Takes you up to a height of 450 feet, it's 162 metres. With all the Regency architecture along the seafront, all the various squares, with the beach, as I say, with 2 piers, with brilliant shopping, the independent shops through the north lanes of Brighton and the jewellers' shops in the lanes. And you're only a short bus ride away from the newest national park in the country, in the South Downs National Park.
And let's hand it over to Adrian in Hunstanton. What can compete with the Brighton Pavilion, Adrian?
Well, I think we'd go for the natural aspect, actually, the cliffs, which are, I think, one of the 7 natural wonders of Britain. Our fantastic sunsets, of course. Although we're in East Anglia, we are facing west, so we have the fantastic sunsets over the Wash. Everywhere is so easy to get to. You can walk around the whole town quite easily. We really do have everything to offer for a family, older people, for the day, extended stay, or even to come and live here, like my wife and I did 10 years ago.
Well, you have both set out your stalls absolutely brilliantly. Hearing your passion for the places that you represent this morning has been a total joy. I couldn't call it. Very, very close. Alan Robbins there from Brighton and Hove City Council. Adrian Winnington, who's the Mayor of Hunstanton. Whichever place you go, you're going to find something that you love, whether it's tri-coloured cliffs or stripy pavilions.
BBC Radio Cambridgeshire.
Both sounding very, very colourful, in fact. Now that I mention it, we're on to the travel. Hi, James.
Hi, Dottie. The A47 slow each way between Thorney and Guyherne. It's possibly linked to a problem with a manhole cover yesterday, and the A47 has to be closed for a little bit of time at Thorney Toll. But we're just trying to get official word on this. But A47 queuing each way, midway between Thorney and Guyherne. In fact, the A47 starts to queue on South Brink, looking at the sensors. So if you're heading from Wisbech, some long delays towards Guyherne and Peterborough. Long delays also south of Erith down towards Willingham. Those roadworks between Willingham and Long Stanton, those temporary traffic lights for roadworks, for gasworks rather, causing the queues. Thanks to Andy, amongst others, for confirming those queues southbound. Long delays from Erith. Really slow on the A14 westbound at Brampton Hut. Trains are fine, though, across the county. Anything else is 0330 123 3551. James Worley, BBC Radio, Cambridgeshire Travel.
James, thank you. And let it never be said that we do not represent all views here on The Breakfast Show on BBC Radio Cambridgeshire. Here's Mark on his favourite seaside resort. He says none of them. They're all rubbish and geared up to rob you of their money. You having a good day, Mark? Nice to hear from you. It's Dottie on your BBC Radio Cambridgeshire Breakfast Show. Still to come, we're back to the worries over childcare and your picks for favourite seaside towns.
A passion for Cambridgeshire. FM, online, on DAB. This is BBC Radio Cambridgeshire.
2 minutes past 8. Mark Summers has the news.
Thank you, Dottie. Good morning. Parents who use a children's centre in Cambridge say they could be forced to quit their jobs or relocate their child's daycare because of plans to change its opening hours. The Fields in Abbey Ward has said funding cuts is forcing them to close at 4 rather than 6 p.m. A Cambridgeshire County Council spokesman said the reduction in funding for the nursery is due to a shortfall because the government's 33 hours of childcare amounts to less money than what parents would pay. Jocelyn Scott is Labour County Councillor for Arbury and led the opposition on the Children's Centre budget cut proposals.
That indicates that the County Council, in my opinion, does not care about children. The national government set out a policy saying there would be 30 hours free childcare, but they did not provide the funding for it. So it's a nonsensical proposition that they're putting forward, and therefore it's leading to this consequence for the Fields and to the same consequence for other children's centres.
Controversial plans to put up council tax bills in Peterborough have been approved. They'll increase by the maximum amount allowed of 6%. It means people in an average Band D property will have to pay an extra £1.42 a week. The City Council gave the go-ahead to the plan in a 4-hour-long meeting last night. John Holditch is the leader of Peterborough City Council.
We wouldn't do it unless we had to do it. There's only so many reductions you can make. We're doing shared services with 5 authorities, with 18 different services. It enables us to reduce the amount of cuts we'd have to make. You have to cut your cloth, we have to find different ways of doing things, and regrettably that some services are weakened by it.
Counter-terrorism officers are trying to identify the source of the nerve agent used to try and murder the former Russian spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia in Salisbury. Both remain critically ill in hospital after being found unconscious on Sunday. A police officer who went to their aid is also in intensive care. He's said to be conscious and talking, although his condition remains serious. A source close to the investigations told the BBC the chemical employed was unusual. From Salisbury, here's Tom Simons.
Scotland Yard said the substance detected in the Salisbury attack had been identified. A source has told the BBC it was rarer than the sarin gas used in Syria and in an attack on the Tokyo Underground in 1995. It was not VX, the nerve agent used to kill the half-brother of the Korean leader Kim Jong-un last year. Police have yet to say if they know how and where the poison was administered. It's known that Sergei Skripal and his daughter had visited a pub and a restaurant before they were found collapsed near the Maltings shopping area of the city.
And the Home Secretary Amber Rudd is due to make a statement about the attempted murder of Sergei Skripal in the Commons later today. The Liberal Democrat leader, Sir Vince Cable, has urged the Prime Minister to take a tougher stance with the European Union over the treatment of Gibraltar in the Brexit negotiations. Brussels has given Spain the power to block any deal between the EU and the UK on the fate of the territory. Sir Vince says rejecting that veto should be a red line for the government. Residents in Wimbledon have started a campaign to tackle the issue of dog fouling in the village. The appeal, called Do Watch, means people can sign up to as a so-called responsible dog owner on the village's Facebook page. Once registered, the owner's dog can wear a green ribbon on its collar. The campaign comes as Fenland District Council steps up patrols and says it's issuing fines of up to £75 to irresponsible dog owners. New rail services directly connecting Cambridge to Brighton and Peterborough to Horsham in West Sussex have started running. Operators Thameslink say they're currently preview services but will launch the routes fully in May with hourly trains. Using new tunnels at St Pancras, the routes mean rail users can travel south of London without having to change. In sport, it's press conference day for Peterborough United and Cambridge United ahead of this weekend's fixtures. Post host Charlton in what will be Steve Evans' first game in charge. In League 2, Cambridge United go to second place Wycombe with caretaker boss Joe Dunn looking for his 4th win in 6. And in ice hockey, Peterborough need to extend their winning run to 8 matches this weekend to secure the National Ice Hockey League 1 South title. The Phantoms take on Streatham Redhawks at Planet Ice after last week's 3-2 victory over title rivals Basingstoke Bison. And the weather for Cambridgeshire, cloudy, some outbreaks of rain, but that'll clear, leaving just the odd shower. Maximum temperature of 8 degrees Celsius, that's 46 in Fahrenheit. There's more news as it happens at bbc.co.uk/Cambridgeshire. It's 7 minutes past 8.
This is BBC Radio Cambridgeshire.
Good morning, it's Dottie McLeod on BBC Radio Cambridgeshire. There's something about the last 10 minutes of the show that's made me really want an ice cream. Maybe some chips. Don't know about you. Still to come on your breakfast show, one of the women who fought for pay equality at a Peterborough institution We hear from one of the Freeman's Five in about 10 minutes' time. Also today, a nerve agent on the streets of Britain.
These are very toxic chemicals, difficult to make,